Today I'm going to be listening to a organ piece by Karl-Heinz Essl, Austrian composer. It's called Il Prendere Fa. I'm just going to pull up the score here. As far as I know, pretty much all of Essel's scores are freely available on his website. These are the ones I downloaded once upon a time in 2022. Looks like September 19th, 2022. I downloaded all of these. They're all keyboard works. This is the one we're looking at today. Sorry, I said the title wrong. It's Prendere il Fa, and it was written in 2021, dedicated to Wolfgang Kogert. And if we look at it, we see some interesting stuff. So we have this like multi-layered beaming across all three staves, and this figuration that is sort of like shifting in tempo uh, between eighth equals 50 and eighth equals 400. It's just kind of fluctuating, and the bottom note of each one is articulated by the pedal. I'm assuming it's held down. Uh, and yeah, the figuration changes. Eventually, we get these sustained things in the middle, and then we're back to the A section. So it seems short, with a pretty straightforward form. Crystal clear shape, crystalline sounds, a piece that, in its production of means, distantly breathes the spirit of old Richard Kari. With his latest work, Prendere il Fa, Karl-Heinz Essl has succeeded in providing further testimony to his creative approach to organ as an instrument. Constant tempo changes and dynamic developments determine the floating character behind which the multi-layered and ultimately strict construction of pitches and durations is elegantly concealed. Perhaps this is why the compact piece has such a lightness, because it is created without a specific reason, simply out of Essel's and my joy in our continuous cooperation and desire to experiment. For reproduction, an organ with one or more very effective swells is required. At the premiere on the large Reiger organ in St. Martin in Kassel, I chose registrations that are very rich in overtones in order to do justice to the bright character of the work. So this program note was written by the organist Wolfgang Kogert in 2022, around the time it was premiered. And maybe I can find out some info about this organist before we get to listening here. I'm going to link this YouTube video, by the way. I think that's the best way to go about this. Okay, he does have a bio here. Versatile performer with repertoire that ranges from 14th century to the most latest music. Uh, and regularly performs work by composers like Kerha, Beat Führer, etc. Works with leading orchestras, including ORF Vienna, uh, the Wiener Symphoniker, Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra, etc. Teaches organ at the Mozarteum University Salzburg, and is the curator of organ at the ORF Radio Kulturhaus in Vienna, an organ curator of the Corinthian Summer. Uh, let's see if he has a repertoire list here. Nice. Okay, Peter Ablinger, Thomas Amann, Marc Andre, Alyssa Aska, Friedrich Kerha, as I mentioned earlier, uh, Bernd Richard Deutsch, Hugh Dufour, spectral composer, Pascal Dusapin, Thierry Esquich, Karl-Heinz Essl, who we're looking at today, Beat Führer, Gubaidulina, Hafter, Hasselbach, Hauer, Herndler, Hilborg, Kehrer, Clement, Kretz, Kurtog, Thomas Lacote or Lacote, Bernard Lang, Klaus Lang, um, and Legway, Macmillan. I'm just gonna list the ones that I know that stick out to me. So Sarah Nemstov, Radulescu. I'm not familiar with Radulescu's um, organ works. Rim, Chelsea, Schnittke, Wagner, and yeah, quite the list. And actually pretty diverse, right? Like people from the post-war period, composers that were born more recently, as recent as what would the youngest be, 1985 maybe, uh, and everything in between. So, yeah, this is a person to check out. Maybe this is a good website actually just to find organ repertoire from the past century. Just go through his repertoire list. Uh, Link to this video is in the description to my video. I'm going to give this a listen. It's probably 6 or 7 minutes, and I'll let you know what I think. Cool. So this was a interesting listen. I should preface for those of you who are going to be listening to the video later. The video I'm sharing does end at the end of the B section, so you may have to find this SoundCloud link to hear the full piece, but I think the A section when it comes back is almost the same, or it's very similar. Um, this idea of slowing and speeding up, and these harmonies that like end up converging on like a F unison, like on an F, that is something that we've already seen in Essel's music. We looked at his piece, 300 Notes, which was for either vibraphone or piano or toy piano. I think we looked at it in the percussion series, so as a vibraphone piece. But it's exactly the same idea, just in a different context. So in that former piece, it's sort of the monothematic, like the main idea. Here, it's the main idea in an A section, and then there's this B section that is completely different in terms of material. And also a new thing with this one is there's this idea of the bottom note of the filigree figure, like ascending slowly. And that's a really effective thing. It also like goes back down and descends, so it creates this like arch, which complements the swelling of dynamics. It's all very like straightforward, and you can even see the piece in the waveform itself. It's very easy to see. The A section has these three swells and they come back later, maybe in reverse order, just based on what I'm seeing here. The first one is a little bit longer, as is the last one here, so maybe it's like reversed. And then in the dead center, you have these other swells. There's like 6 of them, and they probably follow some pattern as well that's easy to figure out. Not, I don't really have time though. But yeah, you can even count them up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's more like 5. Um, right? No, it is 6. Yeah, this is the 6th one. So kind of cool. And this whole middle section's on an F drone, which I think is really interesting. The piece has this sort of like uh, central pitch that everything is oriented around. So yeah, that was it for Prendere il Fa. Uh, Again, my apologies for saying the title wrong right at the beginning of the video. It's been a long day for me already. Okay, so the next one, we're actually going to look at another piece by Matthew Lee Knowles from 2021, same year as this piece that we just looked at.